Hello everybody, welcome to JLABTV. I'm JLAB and this is Football Manager 2016, the Unemployed Challenge, and I've just managed to convince the board to expand our stadium, mostly because we keep on sending out the seats available, but we're not getting a full seat sellout at all because of the fact we have some seats that are not fully seated, which is rather frustrating. But hopefully we can increase the stadium capacity to this provisional capacity of 6,509 seats, which will only cost us 1.7 million. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can make our stadium bigger. It was either that or make a new stadium, and I thought, well, expansions probably works best for now. So yeah, hopefully we can do that and continue to impress. While we do that, we finished off the months of December and January, plus brought some new players in. So I'll go for the December fixtures first, then go through some of the signings I've made. The first game of December was away to Nottingham Forest, and we took the lead in the 3rd minute of the match when Ramos found Shaw, and I think it's a tackle from Shaw, if anything, but it's gone into the back of the net because the keeper didn't see that coming. So he got the goal, and it was a nice win. Nice start. And a minute later, it was 2-0 to Macclesfield Town, when Shaw closed down the defender and then took a shot, and I think Jamel should have done better with that save, but apparently we'll make it 2-0 inside 4 minutes. But then it was 2-1 inside just 10 minutes. Dembele found Sissoko. He played him, and Dembele got on the end of the cross, beats him Blanco, who stood no chance really. So Musa Dembele had gotten his 8th goal of the season. And it was in the 34th minute of the game that we found ourselves conceding a 2nd goal. Dembele found Ravel Morrison, he found Bradley Dack, and Dack scored against me, which I'm slightly annoyed about because he's actually a Gillingham player right now, and that was his 1st goal of the season. And the fact that we dropped 2 points in this game still annoys me to no end. So our next game was at home to Watford, and we found ourselves suffering a setback so early in the match, just 4 minutes in, and this tackle injured Coleman, and his game was over. And it's in the 20th minute of the game that we found ourselves going behind. Nakia found Gutsa, he found Turner, and Turner found back in the net after his shot came off the post, and we bounced it straight to him for his 4th goal of the season. It was 18 minutes later that we found ourselves conceding the 2nd goal. Berahino playing for Watford tried to find Forbes, but Ferreira messed up so badly that Forbes was given an open net to aim at for his 4th goal of the season. However, we did score just before the end of the half, when Augustinson scored with that lovely free kick for his 1st ever goal for the club. But it was in the 89th minute of the game we found ourselves losing outright. Mario Götze scoring against us again to condemn us to a 3-1 defeat with his 3rd goal of the season. So our next game was at Manchester City, and quite frankly I was terrified by this game. So when Thiago Maia found Odegaard to give Manchester the lead in the 57th minute of the match, the 57 minutes of the game, I realised things were not going to go our way. However, we found ourselves equalising. Yes, Manchester City conceded an equaliser to Macclesfield Town when Januzaj found Hassing, who found the back of the net with that lovely effort for his 2nd goal of the season, and to give Macclesfield Town a share of the spoils at the City at Manchester Stadium. I'm not sure about you, but that's rather embarrassing for Manchester City. So our next game was at home to Chelsea, another big game, but we found ourselves going 1-0 up in the match when Zuma tried to pass to Courtois, only for Shaw to actually tackle Courtois and trickle the ball into the back of the net in the 4th minute of the game. And it was in the 7th minute of the game that Chelsea were 2-0 down. Fabiani found Gabriel Ramos, and Ramos is not going to miss a chance like that to score his 9th goal of the season. That was all she wrote, and we managed to steal 3 points at home to Chelsea, who admittedly had been beaten 4-0 by Tottenham in the game before. Our next game was at Arsenal, another big game, and we were going into this game on a high. So when Ferreira made such a howler that Salinas was able to take advantage from it and score. My heart sunk. It wasn't made any better in the 40th minute of the game when Martial made it 2-0 to Arsenal to ensure they got all 3 points with his 5th goal of the season. And it just didn't hurt my confidence at all. They absolutely dominated us in this match, and quite frankly we deserved to lose. So our next match was at home to Everton, and I've never beaten Everton at home, despite the fact we've beaten them twice away from home in the last 2 seasons. So when Fabiani gave us the lead inside the 5th minute of the game, which I still feel the keeper should have done better with, I knew we were going off to a very good start. And that was the only goal of the game, would you believe? So, despite the fact we scored early on, we only needed the goal in the 5th minute to actually ensure we got all 3 points. So, hooray for us, we've got 3 points and we've beaten Everton again. So, this was the first game of January and we were hosting Stoke City. And Moto did this and scored in the 36th minute of the game, just to make me feel unhappy with myself. But it wasn't until the 71st minute of the game that we found ourselves going 2-0 down, where Nathan Redmond was able to put in this cross that Maitland Niles was able to get on the end of and score his first goal of the season. The game was well and truly over in the 89th minute of the game though, where Son was able to find Brown, and Brown was able to find at the back of the net for his first ever goal. On his debut no less. So I found myself starting to spend money in the January transfer window, and I spent £3.6 million on David, a left back who still has a lot of room to improve and is only being paid 5.5 grand a week. I've been starting him ahead of Augustinson recently, but I feel we could do a bit more. But considering I've been playing him as either a limited fullback, I can play as a limited fullback or a fullback. I'm not fussed as to how I do it. I can even play as a wingback, but I'm just really happy I got a good signing in this kid because he's still 20 and can still grow in the future. And my other signing is James Wilson. You should know him. Another former Manchester United player has found his way into my team sheet, and I bought him for £4.1 million, and I'm really happy I did buy him because I needed another striker, especially since I realised after I bought him actually that Gabriel Ramos is now going to be offered the African Cup of Nations. So yeah, I'm happy I got this guy now. Our next game was in the FA Cup away to Luton, and we found ourselves going behind in the 4th minute of the game when Makeda's cross found Lucas, who was able to head home in his first goal of this season in the 4th minute of the game. His first ever goal for Luton apparently. But we were able to fight back. I was starting to wonder if we would ever actually get a goal because we had so many chances before this actually happened. But Preston was able to find Shah, and Shah was able to find the back of the net to give us an equaliser in the 39th minute of the game. And we actually went into the second half leading the game. Shah found Januzaj, who, I don't know how he got to that first, but he played the ball in and found Shah again to make it 2-1 in the 46th minute of the first half. Before in the 46th minute of the game, or first minute in the second half, we found ourselves 3-1 up. Meska was able to play this delicious ball in, and Shah was able to get an end of it to complete his hat-trick and to silence the Luton fans so much that you can't even hear them anymore. Or you could just hear murmurs of discontent. So after securing a place in the 4th round of the FA Cup, we found ourselves hosting Reading. Or going to Reading, sorry. But we found ourselves going 1-0 down when Fonseca's cross ended up being turned into his own net by Ferreira, who's not had a very good 2 months, has he? He's been at fault for 2 goals and has now scored an own goal as well. And to make things worse, in the 50th minute of the game, I gave James Wilson his debut of this match. James Wilson got sent off for 2 yellow cards for his first ever red card in his professional playing career. It just happens to be on his debut as well. But, despite being down to 10 men, we equalised. Wallace found Malumbi, he found Ramirez, and Ramirez scored with their efforts to give us an equaliser in the 85th minute of the game to give me some hope. And it was in the 90th minute of the game that we found ourselves getting our winner. David, in his second start, he started in the FA Cup, scored his first ever goal for the club to give us all 3 points. Our next game was at home to West Brom, and we found ourselves going 1-0 up when Januzaj scored with that lovely free kick. Really, I admire that, I really do. When Fabiani found Valde. When Coleman was tackled by Patrick and fouled by Patrick, who'd already been on a yellow card and got himself sent off for a second booking, much to my delight, and we found ourselves taking advantage of this fact, unlike Reading, by scoring a second goal when Wallace played Shah through and Shah scored to make it 2-0 in the 73rd minute of the game with his 9th goal of the season. A good signing he's turned out to be for me. So then we found ourselves going to Crystal Palace and we took the lead in the 40th minute of the game when Ramirez played this ball in and found James Wilson, who'd come back from his suspension to score in his second appearance for us and his first ever goal for Macclesfield Town. Things didn't go according to plan though, when Palace found themselves scoring an equaliser. When Rolfie found Knudstrup, I think is how you say his name, Maz Knudstrup, who managed to get an equalising goal for Crystal Palace in the 45th minute of the game. But we did get the last laugh, however, when Januzaj found Wilson and Wilson found Shah, who scored his 10th goal of the season with that effort and 7th in 2 months. So our next match was at home to Newcastle, second place at the time Newcastle, when we found ourselves going 1-0 up when Ramirez's shot was blocked and it's found a way to Januzaj. And Januzaj scored on the rebound to get his second goal in 2 games and third of the season inside the 4th minute of the match. But we didn't get things going our way, unfortunately, which is rather frustrating. When Cedric was able to find Koeman, he found Arnett, and Arnett powered the ball home to give Newcastle an equaliser with his 17th goal of the season. But 2 minutes later, we found ourselves taking the lead once more. Augustinson found Fabiani, he found Wallace, who found Borsov, and Borsov found the back of the net for his second goal of the season. We have 3 strikers now who are scoring easily. But Newcastle found themselves equalising for a second time. Koeman, who I swear is a pain in the arse at this point, found Rene Adelaide, who scored to make it 2-2 with his 4th goal of the season, to give Newcastle a share of the spoils. The last match of January for us was away to Swansea, and we found ourselves going 1-0 down when Concha scored with that effort after being found by Jenkinson's cross. And it was in the 43rd minute of the game that we found ourselves going 2-0 down, unfortunately, when Lawson found Concha and Concha scored an effort from close range which he was never going to miss. But we did get a goal back in the 56th minute of the game. Singh was able to find Ramirez, he played the ball in the middle and he found Wilson, who scored his second goal of the season with an effort. But Swansea got the last laugh when they were able to make it 3-1 in the 82nd minute of the game when Concha turned provider this time and found Inaki Williams, who was not going to miss a header so close in for his 10th goal of the season. And this is how the table currently stands. We are 10th place after 25 matches, or after January, and we have played 2 games more than 11th place Stoke, so I'm not completely secure in our positioning right now. Though at least Stoke are struggling for goals, which is weird. They're doing what I did at Lowestoft in my last season there. However, I'm certain that we can get more wins, and we are already just 2 points away from what we got last season in terms of points, and that we are already 16 points clear of 18th place Southampton, so relegation battles should be avoided at this point. We shouldn't, unless we have a very bad run of form. I cannot see us getting relegated at this point or being involved in a relegation battle at all. So right now, very happy how things are going. I just wish we can actually, not lose as many games as we have done this season. That'd be nice. But I am going to end this video here. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope you like and favourite this video. It will really help me out a lot. So anyway, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.